friend?
T2.
Yeah, here, hang on. I don't have your mic on. There you go, brother.
T2.
T2, as they call him. Oh, yeah. You guys know the Frisellas from Frisella's Nursery. And Frisella's Nursery is awesome. You guys have two right now, don't you?
Well, we have our garden center out in Defiance, Missouri, and then we have our design center in Richmond Heights.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect with the camera there, Alex. Thank you. Tony has decided, and this is such a great thing. This is something we have wanted, and this is something we've been talking about for months now, that in order to change this country, it's not necessarily going to happen just by changing a congressman, or just by even changing a U.S. senator, although that actually does work a little bit. But it's going to start at the very bottom, where all of these national organizations are trying to support, like the NEA, school board candidates, Soros, prosecuting attorney candidates, and who knows who's supporting people who have wound their way up onto city councils and county councils and that kind of thing. But you guys have seen what happens when you have a bad city council and a bad county council, and these people during the pandemic will take your rights away and hurt your families and hurt your kids and hurt your health even. So we know what can happen, which is why it's so important to have people like Tony stepping up and saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to run for the St. Louis County Council. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, sir. It wasn't an easy choice. I mean, there's a lot going on, but I think that's everybody's excuse not to run or not to get involved. They said they're too busy. They hide behind that all the time. And so, after my wife and I got involved in some of these school board meetings with our kids, we said, we're done with this. And we actually pulled our kids out of the Frisella School District at the beginning of the 2021-2022 season. And as I started opening my eyes to, where the school board was getting a lot of their information and their guidance from, what was from the local government, from the county.
Yeah.
And so we started looking at that, started talking more, started getting more involved. And I'm like, I think maybe I want to put my voice out there and maybe try to represent what people are truly feeling and truly saying, because nobody agrees with this. And you can see that from how many people came from St. Louis County to come out to St. Charles County. Yet there was these notions that St. Charles County was going to try to put in some of the same mandates and wanted to go through some of the same protocols that St. Louis County was doing. And everybody was like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that over here.
Well, and you also saw the hurt, not only from a parental point of view, but also from a business owning point of view. I mean, it does. I mean, it affects you. I think as a business owner and a parent, I mean, you have vested interest in making sure this county government is locked down and good.
100%. Well, again, everybody overlooks local government. And it is one of the most powerful, it's supposed to be the most powerful, where it actually represents the truest of its citizens because it is local. It's right there. It's in your backyard. But in order for local businesses to thrive, they need to have the government support them. And so you need local citizens to really get as involved as possible and not just pay attention to, all the news and major news programs out there about what's going on nationally, because that takes time before it always hits locally. It's the local elections. It's the local government that matters on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and so basically, how's it going? How's the campaigning going? How are you going about it? What do you need to do? How can we help you?
So I have a website. It's friendsfortonyfrisella.com. It's FOR, not the number 4. You can go there, check out the website, check out some of my stances, where I stand. You can donate there as well. Campaign's just getting going. I'm actually going to wait till after the school board meetings, the school board elections in the beginning of April, because I really want to support those guys. We need change on the school boards. I saw it myself firsthand. And so after that gets going, after those elections are over, that's when I'm going to start hitting the pavement and start going hard at it. And we've got a great slate of candidates that are going against, basically every county council seat is going to be primaried this next election cycle. So every single one of them, which we're, one of the most conservative counties. That's kind of unheard of, but that's how awakened people have become now at the local level.
Yeah, well, and that's also how woke people have become who are already elected. These even in a so-called conservative county, they still let people down. They still show these elements of weakness that are just untenable.
And my whole point is I'm not here to run against somebody. I'm here to run as myself.
Sure.
And may the best person win. May the voters decide the winner and the loser of what's going to come out and who they want to lead the county. I don't think that anybody should run more than 2 terms. personally. And so if they've been there more than 2 terms, they should be primary, no matter what side of the aisle that they're on.
Right.
We need to have some fresh people there, because you get in there, you get comfortable, and then what happens? And you get what you got.
Yeah. So is that one of your pledges, that you're just going to do 2 terms and gone?
I have no inclinations of creating a political career
Dynasty?
by any means.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have no intentions of doing that. So.
All right. Well, how's business, by the way, at Frisella's Nursery?
Business is awesome. Obviously, it's springtime. Everybody's out. I mean, the garden center the doors have been coming off the hinges out in Defiance. I mean, the people calling in for the projects. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, we haven't slowed down in the last few years, just through COVID and all that kind of stuff. It's been nuts. It's been fun. I mean, we had a lot of great, cool things happening, a lot of new stuff coming down the line with our team. And I can't be prouder of the people we have.
People growing their own vegetables, too?
You know what? I have seen more. I'm not talking little 4x4 gardens.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm in Chesterfield. One of my clients has this, I think it's 10 foot wide by almost 100 foot long garden.
Right.
That they've made. And I'm like, okay. And then one of my cousins, his wife texted me and showed me a picture of the garden they want to make. I'm like, do you want something that large? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, so everybody's on that garden kick right now.
All right. So I don't want to turn this into the garden show, but I do have a question for you. So 2 years ago, I had tomatoes. Me and the girls made a tomato garden, and it was unbelievable. We had great tomatoes. Last year, for whatever reason, because it was kind of rainy, and it was a little cool, whatever, and my tomatoes just sucked wind. I don't know what happened. What happened?
Well, it could have been the late freeze that we had, depending on how soon you planted them. Because if you remember, we had that late April snow.
It was before Mother's Day, but after the snow. But yeah.
So I mean, we had some pretty funky weather last year.
I know
that my tomatoes took an extra 4 to 6 weeks to actually get going myself. But then after that, they started to thrive. I cut them back a little bit, is what I did, and I started to get a little bit more juice out of them.
I grew tobacco too, brother.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, just because it was the family business up there in Pennsylvania, so I managed to grow some tobacco.
Interesting.
Dried it up. Haven't smoked it yet, but who knows? I mean,
interesting.
Not to you guys. So technically, though, when it comes to that kind of stuff, is it true that you should never plant those things until after Mother's Day? Because I did plant them 2 years ago. I planted before Mother's Day, and they were great.
So it's April 15th is always the traditional at the last frost date.
Yeah.
Our weather patterns are a little unique the last few years, and so we are, you had the ability to get a later frost than that. It's just a matter of covering your vegetables if we are going to get a frost, and make sure that you keep the frost off of them. If it's just a short time, a couple hours, it's not going to hurt them.
Right on, man. Well, the Frisella family, you guys are awesome. Your dad is a great longtime friend of mine and a good guy, and you too. I know you've done plenty of work at my house before, my old house, back all over there on Rupert, but appreciate you, man, and good luck to you in this race. And you're welcome to come back on. I know it's August 2nd, so we've got a whole summertime to get you back on here and get things going on. So where, again, do we find you? What's your website again?
Friends4TonyFrisella.com.
Friends4TonyFrisella.com. All right, buddy. Good to see you.
You as well, man.
Thanks
Thank
a ton. You guys, your phone calls are welcome. 314